I survived being struck on the sources of my faith with a machete. I almost drowned in a river. I spent 5 days in jail, cell without single call or visitor. I slept on the street after being forced to leave home. For years, I thought surviving those experiences was the hardest part. It wasn't. The hardest part was realizing that those experiences continued to shape my adult life long after they had ended. In this video, I want to share what I discovered about those patterns that were quietly directing my decision for years, and how recognizing those patterns gave me the opportunity to respond differently. If you ever wonder why you avoid difficult work, leave situations too quickly, or constantly seek acceptance, this perspective may help you to understand those reactions in a different way. I grew up in Cameroon between ages of 10 and 21. I experienced several events that left lasting impression on me. My father physically punished me with a machete. I almost drowned in a river. I spent 5 days in jail without visit or single call from family or friend. Later, my father asked me to leave home, not knowing he would never have a place to stay. Looking back, I realized I survived every one of those experiences. At the time, I kept questions. If this is love, what is love? Why didn't anyone stop what was happening? Why did nobody visit me in jail? Why did nobody call? Why did no one offer me a place to stay? Without realizing it, I began building conclusion of myself and the world. I believe love had to be earned. I believe acceptance was something I had to perform for. I believe silence meant danger. I believe being outside of the circle meant I was unsafe. My body adapted before I had words to explain what was happening. When painful situations appeared, I learned to disconnect from my feelings because the response felt safer than experiencing the pain directly. Those beliefs weren't decisions I consciously made. They were conclusions of my younger self formed while trying to survive experience I didn't fully understand. For years, those conclusions were quietly influenced how I worked, relate to people, and responded to stress. Eventually, I noticed the pattern repeating. I would leave jobs. I would escape into schooling. I would chase acceptance. I reacted before I had time to think. Instead of asking what was wrong with me, I started asking, where did this pattern come from? That question changed everything. I realized many of my reactions were based on rules my younger self learned years earlier. Then another realization followed. I am no longer living in those circumstances. Those events are part of my history, but they are no longer my present. For the first time, I recognized I had a choice my younger self never had. What I learned changed the way I understood my own behavior. I learned feeling begins as physical sensation. Afterward, does my mind give it a name? For years, I misread those sensations. I confused this emotional discomfort with laziness. I confused tension with hunger. I confused the urge to escape something I simply needed to obey. I also realized that my automatic reaction were responses learned during childhood. Those experiences taught my younger self certain rules about safety, acceptance, and danger. Those rules continued operating into adulthood without my noticing them. The most realization was this: the danger had passed. My body simply hasn't learned that yet. Maybe you have experienced something similar. You sit down to do an important work. Minutes later, you are scrolling on your phone. You put the effort into something, receive silence in return, and immediately want to leave. You are trying to earn acceptance from people who have already shown you they cannot give it. Before on those reactions, try one small experiment. Pause. Just 10 seconds. Notice the sensation in your body before you outreact. Name it as honestly as you can. Stay with it without immediately trying to escape it. You may discover the sensation rising, changes, and eventually passes. Each time you do this, you give yourself an opportunity to respond differently instead of repeating automatic pattern. Change doesn't happen when we understand our past. Change when we notice pattern in the present and choose, even for 1 second, to respond differently. For a long time, I believed my pattern were my identity. Today, I see them differently. Pattern can be observed. What can be observed can be questioned. And what can be questioned can gradually change. I am not sharing this story to motivate you. I'm sharing this story because I wish someone had explained this idea to me much earlier. If one part of this story connect with your own experience, then this week give yourself one moment. Pause before you escape. A single moment may become the beginning of a different pattern. Thanks for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.